Hello and welcome to the press event Green Morning IPM Preview Lounge. It's great to see you all here. My name is Agnes Zimmermann and I will host the event today. So again, a very warm welcome. Let us now also welcome Ms. Eva Kähler-Theuerkauf, President of the Central Horticulture Association and the North Rhine-Westphalia State Association for Horticulture and IPM Advisory Board Chairwoman. It's great to have you here. Another welcome to Mr. Oliver P. Kuhrt, CEO of MESSE ESSEN and organizer of IPM ESSEN. Welcome, it's great to have you here. IPM ESSEN is a fixed date for the green industry at the start of the year. It's an international industry barometer. It's a meeting point giving impulses, because here you can see the development of the markets, trends and technologies. Now we are living in demanding times, and this is why it's very important to be here in order to share knowledge, share solutions and to reassure and give confidence. So today and the show is really very important. Mrs. Kähler-Theuerkauf, the current market figures show declining sales figures, and this leads to major uncertainties. What is the current mood in the industry? A crisis mode or a fresh start? No, we are not talking about any crisis. We, of course, observe what is happening around us. We see the developments, and you are right. In the year 2025, we had €2 less per capita consumption. We are now at €102. And if you think back to where we were in 2019, there it was still €6 more. And this is not a nice development, especially as the horticulture operations also have changed situations. Higher energy prices, higher material prices, and we have to make sure that we can still sell our products. And then it's of course bad if the consumer is not appreciating our products as they should be, because the products are perfect. Well, Mr. Kuhrt, if the industry is under pressure, what can IPM ESSEN do in such a phase? Well, with pressure, it really depends. Of course, we are also following the framework conditions of the industry and industries we are presenting here in Essen, and here IPM and the green show is of course very important, and it's great to have it at the beginning of the year for the opening of the year. And we have observed this for many years, and we have always seen the ups and downs in the industry. It was not always a straight line going up, but IPM, and this is what a trade show can do, is an event for the industry, and especially if the industry feels pressure, it's necessary for all the stakeholders to get together to see this as a starting point for a season that you don't know how it will develop. You don't know the political framework conditions, you don't know about the weather conditions which play a role, but the physical exchange as a platform of everybody involved in this value chain is something that is now also giving us some optimism and gives you the opportunity to think out of the box, to leave your own company and see what is happening around you. Here we've got a central order and communication platform which is unique. I think worldwide this is really the one platform for the industry, and the high degree of international participation also helps you look beyond the German borders and look at what other countries are doing. But we accepted, and we also understood that we are now living in a time which is quite stressful. And this is why we also adjusted our prices. We want to be a partner. We do not want to be a cost factor, but a factor providing stability. Great. So what is IPM ESSEN doing this year? Well, now I have to check my cheat sheet. I really have to look at what IPM has really created as a support program. Everybody who comes here does not only want to see a product and feel a product, but we also have a lot of other content offered to the visitors. And we really organized a lot. All the halls are occupied, which is a very good sign. Of course, we are fully booked out. This does not always happen. And this does not necessarily have to happen, because we also want to have quality, not only quantity. But I think it's great that we can offer everything: plants, floristry, equipment. But let me also give you some buzzwords here in order to give you a feeling of what we have. In the halls 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and in the Galleria, we've got our plant exhibitors who account for 60%. And in Hall 1A, you again will find the Landgard order days. We are very grateful. This was a strong premiere last year, and we are very happy about the continued cooperation with Landgard. It's very important for operational points, but also as an eye catcher. Then technology, accounting for 32%, is shown in halls 3 and 4 and in the Galleria. Floristry can be found in hall 5, accounts for 8% of exhibitors. All in all, we have grown. There are more exhibitors this year than last year. We have 1,476 companies represented here, which is quite a lot. It's, of course, important to motivate exhibitors to come here, but they appreciate IPM. 68% come from abroad, so highly international, and you will find 14 national booths presenting typical products from their countries, from Belgium to Costa Rica. So a broad offer. Very interesting. Thank you very much for the first impressions. At this point, I would like to welcome Björn Kroner-Salié. He is a famous TV florist, and he will give us an appetizer for the next 2 years under the buzzword of the Aloha Show. Great to have you here. Well, you guys are doing a great job. Welcome to Aloha. Well, this is really something that we will celebrate in the coming days. The spirit of Aloha. This is what happens if flowers and plants come together. We will have a show on the flower stage in Hall 5, where we of course see the wonderful flowers and the kapua, the flower chains, and they smell wonderfully. They brought these kapuas from Hawaii, and each has their own importance. There are some for women, for men, from births till funerals. You can see a lot, but we'll also talk about the cultural background of Hawaii, the flower history, the traditional export, which is a major topic, to trade tropical flowers. So wonderful arrangements and a lot of spirit. Great. So tomorrow and the day after tomorrow on the flower stage in Hall 5, you'll find the Aloha Show with Björn and the two ladies here. I'm looking forward to this, and I really look forward to these kapua. What is the purchase drive? How can you really show spring this year? How can you get it home? Well, you should go to your flower shop, your local flower shop, and get some inspiration of what my colleagues offer. And here I am traveling worldwide. I will see so many things, and now you will draw on the left and the right. Here we've got a special arrangement, and now this is something that you can put together. And I always think about the end consumer. They should come to me, and I've got this great here. You can put it in your flower vase and can have a special arrangement. It's very fast, it's very easy, and you can make your home more beautiful. Or here, this is something that you know from Ikebana. If I think about Hawaii, I think about kapua. If I think about Japan, I think about Ikebana, and now it's also the wreath in Germany and in Diamala. You are preparing a wonderful bouquet. What are the cut flowers you're using here? Well, I can use Magenpaar here, and if you are not familiar with this, they are in the Netherlands. They've got wonderful flowers, and I can see that they are represented worldwide because they have wonderful marketing, and they show clematis, they show these wonderful flowers. And here the florist's preference, Clematis Kyoto, and it looks as if it was plucked from the garden, but it's a cut flower which really lasts long in the vase. And what are the main colors? Here we've got lavender, pink, bluish tones. Is this what we have to expect? Well, according to Magenpaar, yes, but I am more for bright colors. I want to have a wonderful, beautiful and colorful home. I also like color. And now let's come back to the novelty showcase. What can we look forward to? Quite a lot. Kyoto is there. Magenpaar has other flowers as well. I cannot tell you too much now because we will then already reach into the next part of the talk. But I will look around definitely because I am looking for new inspiration. Thank you very much for now, Björn, and I will come back later to you. Now we just saw how you can stage cut flowers in the best way. But what is the importance of new sales formats in order to get going in a difficult market environment? Well, this is very important. We already saw that he is telling stories, and at the point of sale, we need storytelling. We need to give something to the consumers where they find themselves and their desires. Some people like it colorful. Now the first plants are getting on the table after the winter in spring, and consulting is also very important. We have consumers which are uncertain, which don't know what to do. And if we give them proper advice, we can be more successful. And of course, this also includes digitization, our social media. So where we can approach the consumer and involve him, then our sales revenues will be rising. Mr. Kuhrt, what is the program IPM Essen has prepared for the POS? Well, this is of course very decisive because with the product itself you cannot win the war outside. But it's about the presentation of your products and services, everything that you can do at the point of sale, because this can make or break your business. And this is why we think that the support with the presentation, how best to present the products, showing this here at IPM is offering a great platform. And this is why Hall 5 is so central for us. This is the visible center of attention. We try to show creativity, point of sales concepts, feasibility, everything that you can use in your everyday business in order to really talk to your customers at an eye level. And I'm pleased that at the IPM Flower stage, we can really offer this as a magnet involving visitors. We do not only have Björn Kroner-Salié, but many other designers from the world over. And we also cooperate with the German Floristry Association, FDF, to organize a strong and practical program, not only showing theory, but showing something practical. Our partner Boum should be mentioned here as well, because they are offering a special show on floristry trends. They have been here for many years. They show different colors and assortments. And I also would like to mention the Kähler company. Everything that you see here in terms of furniture has been provided by Kähler as our head sponsor. We are very happy about this because shop fitting systems are also playing a major role to present everything, not to have just a very clean presentation, but to create certain moods and atmospheres. We know, of course, that flowers and plants are more and more sold in supermarkets and no longer in the specialized shops, which is a challenge. But the Kähler company knows the target group very well, and we are sure that we will see a lot of people from the retail trade and from the DIY stores. And then we also have the IPM concept store, which is back. And this is very great to see the combination with tableware, with decorative items, with culinary offers, how it works together. So it's a great variety, and this is why I look forward to the event. I also look forward to this. Mr. Kuhrt, social media was already mentioned. Marketing is now more and more happening online. How do you respond as IPM Essen? Yes, this is absolutely true. It's not only IPM, but all the industries are now using social media more and more. IPM, of course, also lives and thrives on the natural experience here. So this is not all social media, luckily, because it's our business model to have people meeting in the hall, seeing, smelling, touching the products in the halls, meeting and exchanging views. But social media is, of course, of high importance. And we've got a recent study I would like to quote. We know that more than half of the social media users, 50% based on the most recent study, use Instagram and TikTok and co. to find new products, new offers. And this goes to show that this customer journey has changed in the past years. And we now have to use these topics. And this is why we now have the creative format Green Vibes in 2026. On Thursday, we are addressing the link between online and offline business. Exhibitors will get the exclusive possibility in a curated setting to establish contact with content creators very quickly. And we can see in this industry that there are more and more influencers, just like in the fashion industry. And there are so many opportunities setting trends. And you can see this then with your followers, the clicks you get, and I know what my daughters are doing, what they click, what is important, and we also want to give a framework to this client group. So all the innovation that was just mentioned is not only a nice to have, but we need this. We need this innovation in our industry. This is the kick which will also help us gain more ground.
Well, social media is everywhere and we all need to accept it. But now we would like to speak about sustainability, which is very important in the green industry, and at the same time it changes consumer behavior. Innovative plants are also what Florensis has to offer. So please welcome with me Tobias Dittrich, and he's joining us on stage. Before we get into your new products, I have a question for the association. Ms. Kähler-Theuerkauf, how is sustainability currently changing product development and marketing of plants? And where do you see real opportunities rather than just additional costs? Well, sustainability is no more just a niche, but a market factor. Sustainable also means packaging. Packaging is really important, and quite often it's part of the storytelling. And we must use the opportunities of qualitatively improved communication. We need good prices and economies of scale and economy. And you said that we have to reorient ourselves. And innovation is really important when it comes to sustainability. New varieties have to be more resistant and more resilient when it comes to climate change. And the consumer no longer has the experience and needs some extra advice, some extra support and help. And we are grateful to have companies that also look at this kind of development when it comes to the plants that we want to market. Resilient to climate change is very important, and we also have to be able to produce sustainably and sell sustainably, because people's behavior has changed and we have to be sustainable, and the creative ideas help us in our storytelling about plants. And I think it's fantastic, and I'm so grateful that we've got it. Rather have the added value than just volume growth. So innovation in the assortment is important. Yes, we won't be able to survive without innovation. Yes, without innovation you can't grow. Florensis is back to IPM ESSEN and is participating in the innovation showcase. What role do quality, sustainability and emotions play when you launch new plants on the market? Well, all three of them are important and inextricably linked to one another. Quality is the foundation, and when we come up with novelties, quality is the be-all and end-all. And sustainability is not just a nice to have, it's also part of that, and it is not a burden but an additional benefit, because only if I have a variety with a long shelf life that can survive a longer time in the store or the journey to the store or the consumer, then it's worth being introduced. And emotions are part of it, to also control the purchasing impulse. And this is the only way to make people buy plants. Yes, and new emotions are also shared by the highlights. The primula is the messenger of spring, but you've got a new one, the pom-pom F1 early. Yes, we embellished the primula. Pom-pom F1 early. It's a true F1. It's a filled blossom. And it's just like a little bouquet when you look at the potted plant. And it's like little roses. And we normally plant them in larger pots. That's rather impressive. And as compared to competitive varieties, it's a genetic that can be easily reproduced. You don't have to use any inhibitors. And you just plant it, and it's very durable, not just in the shop but also with the customer. The flowers will last for 40 days and longer. It's really a competition to an isolated cut flower bouquet. You not just brought along the pom-pom F1 early, but also the lilac, the little rock star. Oh yes, it's the smallest Bodleian series. That's why we call them the little rock stars. It's 4 colors, the red. One is in our novelties showcase, but all the 4 colors are a good match. You can have from 12 to 13 centimeter pots and to 3 liters, and these are small flowers, and when they are in full blossom, it's fantastic. It's a wonderful summer product. Thank you very much for explaining the new highlights. Mr. Kuhrt, where do you bundle innovation on IPM? What should the media representatives take a look at? Well, innovation is our bread and butter business, and we are so glad that such innovation like what we've just seen with Florensis are on offer here. That is exactly what the industry needs in January, namely the messengers for spring. Everybody's looking forward to sunnier days when things are going. We've got quite a number of awards and special sales areas, and the team has got 5, and I would like to quote them. For example, in the framework program in the Gardeners Forum with a guided tour in Hall 2, we have the central place for innovation, all about younger plants Then certainly we also have to look at the new wooded plants. The greenery of cities is on focus, and in the last days that was a major topic, and it goes to show how important this is, and we want to be presenting this contents as well. And on top of the tours on the climate, trees and perennials, just like with the Green City Europe Award, it's important that this award is to highlight the significance of that very segment. Then there's the Innovation Center of Horticultural Technology in Hall 4, where science and practitioners come together. Very exciting. And then in the novelties showcase on the ZVB stand, we see all the plant innovations in a bundled fashion and on exhibition, and the best ones will be awarded a prize tomorrow. Well, you have to come and look. And for the very first time, the cannabis plant, which is part of the entire new development, because it goes to show that the industry is developing into new futures. Oh, it's all very interesting, and you are cordially invited, all of you, to go and look. Mr. Dittrich? On Thursday, you will speak on the Gardeners Forum. What about? Well, exactly. Now that I'm here, you won't get rid of me. On Thursday, I will speak about our concept developed together with our retail guys. It's about non-stop blooms. It's a perennial concept where the customer can see that they can select plants that will be flowering throughout the summer. There are wonderful products that will show color all over the summer, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Highly interesting. So that's in the Gardeners Forum on Thursday. Thank you, Mr. Dittrich. I'll be back. Let me briefly look at Björn, because we will go on with him and we will see the flowers in action in a moment. So I would like to welcome Gerard van der Sar. Good to have you with us. Yes, we love to have the Dutch ones in our midst. Gerard, what kind of products did you bring along? We are importers of flower pots and baskets, and we have different material, rattan, seagrass, and others, and jute, and ceramics as well. But this is not just any ceramic, it's a special one. Yes, exactly. Our company, we want to achieve 100% sustainability. That's what we've been working on for 13, 14 years. And I don't know whether it will take another 10 years or longer, but we are heading towards 100% sustainability. What does that mean? It means quite often you have to take 3 steps ahead and then you have a setback of 2 steps again. But it's fun and it's important. And with ceramic pots, that's the latest novelty. We are, I think, the first company worldwide producing sustainable ceramic pots. It's so easy. The clay comes from the plant, but we burn it with green electricity. We found a coating company providing 100% ecologically produced coatings or paint so that we can sell this sustainable product. And what do you produce with?
Okay, jetzt habe ich gerade versucht, das Geheimnis rauszulocken.
And where do you produce? Yes, well, it's a secret still. Sustainability, generally speaking, is a topic. We just do it in our own production or together with partners who work exclusively for us. I think our company knows what it takes to produce sustainable products, and we then go and control everything until the finest detail ourselves. We do that in Europe with partners, and we have to stick to that. Fantastic. And what are the levers? Where can you make a little change so that you can really implement sustainability in your operation? What a good question, because it depends on the product. It differs from product to product. Ceramics, as I just said, we are the first company who started with rattan. And in Indonesia, we've got our own rattan plant. And I wanted to know it all, how it's working, where does it come from. We have our plant on Java, the rainforest, and we've never been there, so I went there. And I saw in the rainforest that for rattan to be produced, you actually have to cut trees and plants in the rainforest, hectares after hectares. In Kalimantan, in our production site, I have to travel 3 hours across landscape without any rattan plants anymore. Sustainability needs to have a different approach with respect for nature, not just cutting grass here, there, and everywhere. You have to give the rainforest the chance to grow again, and that is where the nitty-gritty of the sustainability problem is. Jute and seagrass is a different story in its own right. So each group has its own conditions and terms, but generally speaking, we say our products actually have to have a very small ecological footprint. Gerard, what did you change in your own company to provide more sustainability or to achieve more sustainability? How much time do I have? Not so much, honestly. Well, it's wonderful to speak to people in Indonesia. They produce in Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, and Eastern Europe. It's all to tell people you must work sustainability, but you have to do it yourself. We have an energy neutral house ourselves, no gas connection. We use hydrogen powered cars, and we go on wherever we can. We use recycled plastics in our baskets. And so we take steps left, right, and center to be sustainable wherever possible. And we want to set a good example. You did manage to do that. And I think that's worth a big hand, definitely. Thank you very much for giving us all these insights. But let me ask you, behind you there's something dangling or hanging. Not only there, there's also something on stage. So, okay. You can stay here, but one of my favorite products that I've been selling for 2 years, it's a balloon with 3 O's representing the 3 ladies that founded that, and that's giving me goosebumps because it's produced in Germany, handmade. You can leave it outside for 365 days a year, 3 sizes, many colors, weatherproof. You can wash it. There are arrangements for the garden. There is illumination and a solar module, but you have to look at the size and the color. It's not always getting the power, but I get some photos from my customers who send me photographs because they love it, because sometimes it looks like the moon. And let me briefly mention the Kala furniture, the shop fitting solutions. Mr. Kuhrt mentioned that briefly. Here you can see the shop fitters products again, from the tables and the cut flower presentation racks. They all and they also have drawers and waste baskets that you can take out and push them in again. Wonderful shop fitting. Okay, let us take a closer look at sustainability and new products. And for this purpose, I would like to welcome Jens Brune. A cordial welcome. Do take a seat. A very important topic for sustainability is peat reduction. Kleeschulte Erden is a good example for innovative solutions. At the same time, many companies talk about practical challenges. From the association's point of view, where do we find ourselves in reducing peat? What do you expect politicians and traders to do? For a long time, we started to reduce peat as producers, but the fact is we need replacement. And the replacements for peat are, I'm sorry to say, not always available in the quantities that we need them. And we need good qualities. We have to have reproducible substrate. The situation as we are faced with it at the moment, and I would like to praise our Dutch colleagues now, because in the Netherlands there is a round table with producers and politicians sitting together and talking about the situation. What is it that we can do? What could we do to make progress together to reduce peat? And now let me spoiler this. Tomorrow, we are really going to mark the beginning of the very first roundtable in Germany with politicians, and the State Secretary of the LEH will visit us. And here, I'm so glad that we get the opportunity to start this exchange tomorrow, because this is going to be very beneficial. The fact is that there are some cultures that cannot be produced without peat. Thank God he's nodding. That's the one situation. And the other situation is that we have already made a lot of progress and we have achieved substantial reductions, but the quality of our products must not be compromised. And here we come back to what you asked in the beginning. Where do we find ourselves at the moment as a market? We must have the best qualitative options. Should we sell products to the consumer that are of a reduced quality because of the wrong substrates or wrong compositions and less value, and the plants will not survive at home? Rest assured, those consumers will not be able to recognize what it is that has happened there, and they will not buy again. Yes, we need to talk to the politicians, and we have to talk about how we can exit peat production. To what extent can we exit it, and where is it not realistic? So we have to look at the true circumstances, and please, those in the business, do inform the consumers. The consumers must know that the situation and treating plants is different when you have peat-reduced substances. Then you have to water the plants more intensively and care for them more intensively. And this is something that you can take into consideration, but you have to know about it. If you don't inform the consumers, at the end of the day, we will end up with an inferior quality, and nobody wants that. Mr. Brune, what's the point of view that you have? Where do you see challenges and opportunities? Well, Ms. Kähler-Theuerkauf already said it all. Not all cultures can survive without peat, but for us, we have to take a differentiated approach. We have the technical trade. We from Kleeschulte have been peat-free for 2 years, but then we have to have a look at the horticulture in other areas, and in the past months we have a lot of questions being asked. We want to try it, and these are the professional horticultural operations, and a good raw material is of the essence, and that is the challenge. I can only produce peat-free soil if I have the good raw material. We are producing most of our raw materials ourselves, so we know that what we use will work. But as we've just heard, in the market there is not just the professional horticulture, but there are some others who say, well, we have peat-free soil that may be of an inferior quality, not working so much, and the final consumers say, well, peat-free doesn't work, but that's not true. Should I have a reasonable, high-valued peat-free soil, it will work, and that is actually true also for professional horticultures and for the retail horticulture. Peat-free and with a substrate that will work will make the gardener happy as well. And there's also one point with respect to the traders. That is where the biggest lever is. They will have to also address the traders, the dealers. Storytelling was mentioned in the beginning. This is also about storytelling. I speak to the gardener and tell them that we give them a substrate that is 80% peat reduced or maybe even peat free, and it has to be treated in this or the other way. And when talking to the gardener, you will see that the gardeners will implement it and then it'll work.
Mr. Kuhrt, in how far is this topic also reflected in the support program? Well, peat reduction, sustainability, this is not only an empty word for us, but it has been around for many, many years already from different points of view, and this is exactly the right platform here. We do not see ourselves as an assessor of technologies. We don't want to make an assessment here, but we want to give all the stakeholders the possibility to openly discuss it here at the IPM platform. And here you can do this in the Innovation Center Horticulture Technology or also the Horticulture Info Center at the ZVG stand. So there are different possibilities to discuss this topic. I'm learning every year because there is a dynamic development. It's also an emotional topic, as we saw in many of the opening sessions. But it is an important topic, and it's now the right time to discuss it here in Essen. Mrs. Kähler-Theuerkauf, another very important topic is plant packaging. The EU packaging regulation puts pressure on the operations. What is the current situation? Now let me get this card here. Well, at present, there is a lot of talk about this topic. Yesterday, I got a link from the Bild newspaper, and they said there will no longer be any pots for plants. But this is not true. It's simply a lie. There is the packaging regulation, and this says that packaging has to be reduced. Yes, of course, this is also a topic of sustainability. We want to produce less waste. That's absolutely obvious. But now let me do some storytelling. If you buy a Monstera in a shop, then you'll probably not go there and take away the pot at the checkout and leave the pot at the checkout because you say this is packaging and I don't want it and I will just have it without the pot in my car. Well, this Monstera probably will be in your home in a nice fashion next to your favorite armchair and still sit in this pot. But this is not packaging, and this is also what the regulation said in the beginning. So packaging is only restricted if it's for plants which don't stay in the pot. But now we have the situation where currently the EU is discussing this again, and they say that this pot for the Monstera also needs to be licensed, needs to be registered, and needs to be part of this bureaucratic regulation. And this is a wrong interpretation. This is at least our point of view, and we say if your Monstera after many years because you used them, then at the end of its life you will take the pot and you will put it into your recyclable waste. And this is something that we can also guarantee. We produce pots which can be fed into the recycling cycle in order to be reused or recycled. So we see a lot of development and change in this area. Mr. Brune, in how far are you affected by the packaging regulation? Well, here again, I have to make a distinction between home users and the B2B users. Big bags, of course, they have plastics, But, well, soil needs to be transported with plastic around it. Otherwise, it would be difficult. In your car, you wouldn't want to have the loose soil in your boot. So we need these plastic bags. It's some packaging that you need in order to get the product to your customer's home. And there are, of course, alternatives to PE plastics. Sometimes it's not 100% successful because the alternatives are more expensive. And at the end of the day, a 40-liter bag of soil, which costs a certain price, if it gets more expensive just because you need different packaging, then it's not really popular with the consumer. But nevertheless, we try to do our utmost in order to make this area sustainable. And this is also true for our colleagues. We use foil, which is 80% consisting of recycling material, and we no longer use pure PE, but it's recycled plastics which is used for our foils. Our foil suppliers give us recyclable products. So you can see changes and improvements. Thank you very much for your stay here. And now let's take a look at more innovation from the technical field. And now I would like to ask two gentlemen to join me, Maximilian Stickroth and Jochen Knecht. It's great to have you here. Maximilian, let's get started. Boum is a startup from Switzerland, a newcomer to IPM, so it's the first time for you to be here. What is the idea behind Boum Core? Well, the system behind Boum is relatively simple. We want to provide easy irrigation and make it possible for everybody to have their own plants at home, without investing too much time, without too much effort, and without too much previous knowledge. What we did is that we combined nature and technology. We have developed a system which is providing water to your plants in a very practical way. It makes your life easier. So we have smart gardening, and we want to get it out of the niche and bring it into the homes, onto the terraces and balconies. And with Boum Core, which will be launched in March, we can provide a complete set of smart technology with smart control, with an integrated water pump, a UV sensor in order to measure the water level, but also our Boum pots, which have a special system of wicks that can supply water to the plants. And in this way, we can really turn every home into a hobby gardener's place. So you are now launching this product. Who can use these pots? Is it for professionals or also for people at home? Well, first of all, this is meant for people at home because we want to reach out to people who were not really sure about whether they could have tomato plants on their balcony because they said, I didn't have a good experience in the past, I don't have the necessary knowledge. We can tell people that we offer a plug-and-play system. You just put it on your balcony, you fill your water tank, you plant your tomatoes, and then you can go on vacation for 2 weeks. You can check our Boum app in order to control the water level every now and again, but otherwise the system will inform you about everything that you need. Also perhaps about new fertilizer needed. So you no longer need a green thumb to keep your plants alive. Yes, this is exactly right. Thank you. And we've got bio plants from Boum Blooms, and these are really smelling wonderfully. Here I've got something for your soup, and this really smells like stock cubes. And we've got the edible fuchsia, which also has some fruit which is edible. So this is great. Thank you very much also to Bloom Flowers. Now we change perspectives again, and now let's take a look at the professional horticulture area. Knecht now is presenting innovation in fertilizers. Knecht is a family company in the third generation. Your grandfather founded the company, your father expanded this, and the third generation is now taking the step into the digital world. Jochen, what are your products? Well, first of all, thank you very much for your nice welcome, and hello to everybody. Our company was founded 98 years ago. Incredible. And I have been in the company for several years now, and I would like to show that since 98 years now, our company has been producing tools that our customers need in order to grow plants and market them. So we create tools for professional companies so that what we discussed so far can really be produced. Our company, for example, produces production tables, complex irrigation systems, water supply systems. So we are moving away from the classical end consumer market, but we now talk about industrial production of nice green plants. Wonderful. And what did you bring to us today? Should we move this forward a little bit for people to see more? Yes, let's turn it around, and it will not be too technical. Don't be afraid. I've got a wonderful thing here. I think this is our treasure, and we call it our barkeeper. Why do we call it the barkeeper? What is the task of a barkeeper? A barkeeper has the task to make people happy by mixing cocktails, using different ingredients, following certain recipes. And what is then consumed is reviving you. And this is exactly what this machine does, but it doesn't make people happy, but first it makes plants happy, and then the people will be happy afterwards. So water, processed water or fresh water, is mixed with fertilizers, not arbitrarily, but following explicit recipes and formulas, depending on the needs of the plants to be grown. And here, I do not want to be too technical, but just some basic information to give you an idea. Here we've got a huge tube. There water comes in, and here you can guess water gets out again. And on the back, and this is something you can't see, we would have huge kegs, up to 4 big kegs containing different fertilizers, solutions of fertilizers. And this machine now has the task to mix processed water or fresh water, processed water that was already used in a gardener's operation, to mix it with the existing fertilizer. Not arbitrarily, but let me repeat, very precise, based on formulas and recipes. Because we are not working for hobby gardeners on the terrace, where you of course want to have strong plants, but for operations it's very difficult if the plants wilt because fertilizers don't work properly. So a lot of money is involved here, and this technology is very important here because if the mixture is not right, things could happen. And it's digitized, and this means that you've got a very precise, very exact dosage, which wouldn't be possible without digital support. Yes, thanks for your hint. Yes, I am in the 3rd generation. And as a 3rd generation in a company, you, of course, also try to change things a little bit to get away from what has become a little rusty and take new steps. And now I'm 44 years of age. I am a techie, and I said we want to get into the digital world. And it's not rocket science with fertilizer, but to be precise in production, this of course is a very technical aspect. We built fertilizer mixing operations for decades, but we didn't have the digital control units. We had to buy them in, and now we said we want to serve this market ourselves, and we take the step from a plant builder to a systems supplier, complete with the digital control system. Thank you very much, Jochen, for your words on your introduction. And now a question to the two of you. Boum is thinking about the end consumer, and here, on the other hand, we've got the professions. Two perspectives. What are the interactions? Can you learn from each other? Yes, I think this is very exciting. And we also exchanged information amongst ourselves when we were here this morning. We could already try to explore certain possibilities. Yes, we focus a lot on the end consumer, and combining our approaches with the experience from professional operations, we have interaction, and we can see for the future how we can make things not only innovative but also robust, efficient and long-term. So you definitely learn from each other, and this is what a trade show is used for. Yes, that's the plan. Yesterday we already met for a short discussion, and many ideas were developed. Max comes from the field of urban gardening, small, mobile, but we are semi-mobile, stationary and large. And this is also a mixture which is required here, because you may also know about facade greening, a big topic for us at Knecht as well. We work with architects, and this is a great interface, because urban gardening and facade greening, I'm pretty sure that we'll have to meet over a beer every now and again and discuss details. Thank you very much for your stay here. Okay, and now we saw a lot of innovation. The industry is very committed, but it also needs safe framework conditions regarding energy, crop protection and staff. Mrs. Kähler-Theuerkauf, what are the most important political aspects in order to keep horticulture alive? Well, first of all, we need certainty around CO2 and energy costs. This is a huge burden to horticulture companies. Then I also wish for reliable biological crop protection in the future, so that we can respond to climate change. Climate change is bringing us new diseases, new pests, and we have to have good crop protection in order to respond quickly if new problems arise. Bureaucracy, I don't think I have to mention that it's necessary to reduce bureaucracy. You spend too much time on paperwork. You want to focus on your plants and not to just fill in forms and templates. This is a situation nobody really likes. And what I most wish for is investment into research and development, because everything that we have seen so far says that we have to go into the future. We have to meet our challenges, and research and development is very important in order to survive future challenges. And let me now say, when the new government was formed in Germany, we managed to be mentioned in the coalition agreement with the action program for horticulture. We listed what is required for horticulture. It's part of the coalition agreement, and these coalition agreements then have to be implemented. And I hope that it will be done quickly now, because this would give a lot of progress to the horticulture experts. So these are the major wishes that I would write on my wish list, and tomorrow we'll see the politicians and I will definitely talk to them. This is a huge opportunity. Mr. Kuhrt, what is the role of politics at IPM? Well, politics has always been important because politics, the political conditions are important for the industry, set the framework conditions, and this is why we need a dialogue. Yes, we will have politicians here. Prime Minister Hendrik Wüst will be here for the opening ceremony. Silke Gorrison, the Minister for Agriculture. We also have a lot of research and economic delegations, so a lot is happening, and we of course use this opportunity. As Eva already said, you'll hear about more and more regulations coming from Brussels, from the EU, and IPM is a time of the year where we can really say theory meets practice, and there are a lot of things that to be discussed, and we are happy to have a very committed ZVG president who is prepared to do things.
Coming to the end, I would like to ask you what you are most looking for in the coming days. Both of you, please. Friday, 4 o'clock. No, honestly. If I may start. My answer will be shorter anyway. Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing enthusiastic visitors, and when we have 1,500 exhibitors leaving the company with the fair with happy faces, wanting to come back, because we want to produce in a value-adding way, and I'm looking forward to 10,000 of visitors that also make their contribution, which is just as important. If both groups, visitors and exhibitors, leave the fair happily, then that's fine. I'm looking forward to the start of a fantastic horticultural year, and I'm looking forward to being able to inspire our visitors. The press conference today set a good example, showing so many wonderful innovations and ideas. There's so much to see and to get enthused by and inspired by, and to be able to take in the fresh breath of spring. And I would like to ask all of you, by way of representation of all your colleagues, have a look around, and then you will see that horticulture is alive and ready to take up the future and to meet the challenges. Horticulture is an engine, a wonderful engine. I'm looking forward to the horticultural year 2026, and if we can inspire our visitors with this fantastic trade show, I can only wish everyone good business, lots of success, and I'm looking forward to this fair. What a wonderful start. These were many, many pieces of information. Do you have questions? You may dare to ask questions. Was it all crystal clear? It seems to have been the fact. Maybe we received some questions from those joining via stream. No questions. That means we've covered it all. Wonderful. By the way, the press folder is also available for download, and you will find photographs in the media center. Should you want to have individual interviews, you may inform the IPM press team, and they can organize all this for you, the individual interviews. Thank you for joining us today. You are more than cordially invited to join us for brunch, and please, all the exhibitors, come to the stage area because we want to have a group photograph. Thank you and goodbye.